Good afternoon and welcome to the March Family Law Section Facebook Live on Healthy Sleep with Dr. Amy Botwinick. Dr. Amy Botwinick empowers professionals to manage pressure and to sustain well-being in high-stress environments. After a successful 30-year career as a chiropractor, she took her education and experience to support others as a behavioral health keynote trainer, specializing in realistic self-care CLE trainings for busy lawyers. Dr. Botwinick delivers dynamic, actionable education that inspires real change. She equips individuals with simple yet powerful tools to enhance mental and physical well-being, build sustainable self-care habits, and track mood and triggers effectively. Her mission is to help lawyers tame their brains and bodies, transforming their lives with practical, science-based strategies. Thank you, Doctor, for being with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
So, doctor, many family lawyers struggle to fall asleep. They feel tired, but as soon as they turn the lights off, their mind starts to race. Can you provide some support?
Absolutely. And it's really important to realize we go to bed and we have this beautiful mattress, a nice place for our bodies to rest, but we really need a nice soft place for our brains to rest, like a nest. You want to get your brain off the highway, exit a ramp so that you can fall into a deep restorative sleep. So first question that I always ask people to consider is, what's your sleep hygiene? What does that mean? It means your sleep habits. How do you wind down? So a few things for the audience to think about is a half hour before you're ready to go to bed. Let's say you have a rhythm where you're going to bed at 10 and you're getting up at 6:37. So at 9:30, you want to really stop all the electronics. You don't want to have that blue light activating your neural system that's going to be in your wake cycle. So be able to say, okay, 30 minutes before I turn the light, I'm going to do something old-fashioned. What does that mean? These days, it means reading a real book, not a Kindle, something that's turning the page, using your brain and your hands. Maybe it's a crossword puzzle or Sudoku, something that doesn't require electronics. And yes, the email will be there for you in the morning. So, some lawyers that I've talked to, they feel like they have to check everything before they go to bed. And then when you do that, what are you thinking about? What I got to do the next day? How am I going to put this? It'll be there in the morning. So do yourself a favor and just a half hour unplug. Another thing is you want to really check, is my bedroom a cool, cozy, dark cave? Okay, this is great for the women because, the science shows 68, 69 degrees is the average optimal, amazing temperature. A lot of the women are so happy about that. The men are going to need, if they have partners, to put something on, a sweatshirt, but that really kind of gets you into hibernation mode. And I want you to look around the room to see if there's any ambient light coming from the TV. Is the clock so close to your head? I have a husband who's an attorney, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, well, I want to see what time it is. I'm like, where are you going? It's just that light. What happens is that light hits the back of your retina and it hits your master clock in your brain to tell you to either produce melatonin or not produce it. So light is not going to allow your natural pharmacy in your brain to produce this beautiful hormone. It's called the Dracula hormone because this hormone only comes out at night in the absence of light. So make sure that there's no light that you might not be thinking of that could really be affecting your wake sleep cycle. Another thing I say is be careful with alcohol and caffeine. Some people are really sensitive. So 3, 4 p.m., no more coffee. And remember, while alcohol makes you tired at first, it's like an hour later, it's like big lights, big city, you're like up because that sugar wakes you up. Another thing, invest in some really nice bedding, some cozy bedding, and the pillow, a nice organic pillow that is good for you. You're on that pillow 8, 9 hours of sleep. You want it to be comfortable, to fill the space between your shoulder and your neck. So you don't have a pillow that's too fluffy where you're going to have neck tilt, too flat. You want to make sure that you're in alignment, that you stuff the pillow so you're neutral. Mulberry silk. I'm a big fan of the mulberry silk pillowcases. It's great for the skin, it's great for the hair, and it's just super cozy. So a few things, the coolness, the no light, and really being able to watch the caffeine. A few more tips. You want to exercise, but not too close to bedtime because that's going to jack your system up, right? So getting up early at a regular time is going to be really important, and trying to get that exercise in so that when it's nighttime, you're tired. You are ready to drop into that deep restorative sleep.
Those are great tips. So, can you ever catch up on your sleep?
Well, yes and no, partially. Meaning it's really important to try to keep your rhythm. And that's, science has shown it's important to keep the rhythm even on the weekends. But if you're having a really big week of trial and you are just burning it, you're going to have to do what you're going to do. So what the science says is on the weekend, it's okay to catch up on, if you normally up at 7, give yourself an extra hour, but no more than that, because you're going to really start messing with that natural circadian rhythm that you have that is so important to deep sleep. What is recommended is a nap in the middle of the day. If you're burning it, and you could take your lunch hour and just kind of take 20 minutes for a power nap, that's a beautiful thing. That'll reboot your brain, reboot your body, and help make sure that you're going to have some healing action going on to clear all the junk out. So it's really like the cat naps are good. And if you have to catch up, try not to sleep in the whole morning, but give yourself that extra hour.
So many family lawyers just are not getting enough sleep. How can this affect the lawyer's overall health now and in the future?
This is big. This is really big. And I'm sure you and I have talked to people. I can get by with 4 hours sleep. I'm fine. Well, science proves that that's not true. Perhaps maybe 2% of the population are wired and made in a certain way. However, the majority of humans, the minimum is 7 hours sleep, 7 to 8 hours sleep. And most people know what their sweet spot is. What is the sweet spot of how many hours? But what I really want to say to everybody listening out here is the importance of prioritizing and protecting your sleep. Because when we get into a good deep sleep, there are a lot of things going on. One that's really important is this is a time that our brain clears out those damaging things that happen as we age. We've all heard the research about neurofibrillary tangles, amyloids, plaquing that can lead to dementia and Alzheimer's. And sleep is really magic because when you get into that deep, slow wave and REM sleep, it's like you're flossing your teeth, you're flossing your brain. So this is really important for longevity. And sleep is important for focus and your cognitive ability, your ability to be creative and solution focused and like on target versus that brain fog when you don't get enough sleep. It affects your mood, and it also helps with weight management, believe it or not, because when we're not getting enough sleep, we drop cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone that makes us hungry, you know? So when we're up a lot at night, that refrigerator is calling for a reason because of that cortisol. So my number one thing is to get realistic about what the human body needs. 7 to 8 hours, protect it, prioritize it.
What tips do you have for lawyers and their clients for the upcoming time change on March 9th?
Yeah, this is something, this has just got to stop. And Arizona finally got it straight. So hopefully we'll all become like Arizona. This is a tough one. So the first thing to do is to remember as you're going through that next day, just to slow down, just take a little extra time to get to work. A lot of accidents happen. We're just not in our best self. Number two is to the clocks. Remember the clocks, get them all in sync. There is nothing worse than that panic when you have the car clock, the kitchen clock, and another, just make sure you change everything so you don't have that panic. What is recommended? And, if you can do this, because I'm going to tell you that when you have a rhythm, a circadian rhythm, science shows that when you go to bed and you wake up at the same time every day, this really helps your sleep. But the reality is, it's a natural thing to fall asleep. So it's harder to just like, okay, 10 o'clock, I'm going to be out. Doesn't happen like that. It's a process. What's in our control is we can wake up the same time every morning with a clock. So as I give these recommendations, I'm going to say the wake up time is the most important. So what can be helpful is that the change of time happens March 9th. So on Thursday, March 7th, consider trying to get to bed 15 minutes earlier, meaning start your sleep routine 15 minutes earlier. and then wake up 15 minutes earlier. On Friday, let's try that 30 minutes earlier. Get that sleep hygiene, that sleep routine, and just try to get into that headspace where you're calm and you're not ruminating because you're distracting yourself with a book or a crossword puzzle so you can sleep. And then getting up 30 minutes earlier on the 8th. On the 9th, this is a big one. Let's try and get with it. 45 minutes earlier to bed, 45 minutes up early. And the reality is, you're going to be tired. So when you wake up, I want you to be in your good head to say, all right, I'm tired, but this is good. I'm going to have an epic day. I'm going to slow down, and I am tired, but this is going to be great because I'm going to fall asleep like a rock tomorrow. So a lot of it is how you talk to yourself this day, right? So this idea of slowing down and just taking some more time and trying to do your sleep hygiene 15 minutes earlier on the 7th, 30 minutes earlier on the 8th, and on the 9th, 45 minutes. The key is going to be your control is that alarm clock.
Well, thank you, doctor, for these very powerful strategies. They're so helpful. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I think with children, because this is always, a lot of us have kids, or we will think, in the future, and our sleep is only as good as our kids' sleep, right? We have to make sure they're all settled. So with babies, some sleep tips, as hard as it is, try soothing the baby in the crib and just quietly tiptoe out when they're settled and try to get that routine for the baby. It gives them confidence, that self-soothing piece, and you'll sleep better. When it comes to toddlers, you want to give them some control in their bedroom, in their hygiene, in their nighttime hygiene. Let them pick out their pajamas, give them choices so they feel like they have some control. And with adolescents, it's a tough one because there comes the screens, right? They're on their phone, they're on their computer, and they're doing homework. It's really good to keep that bedroom a nice, quiet sanctuary, like bedroom is for sleep, and the computer and the homework is in another room. And then that screen time does not go with you. It's hard, but it's really important to take that phone, if you can, away from them because it's not helpful. They have to learn, they have to be healthy, and just try to make that routine for them, good sleep hygiene at an early age. And then when we come to the teenage years, they know everything, right? They're teenagers. So it's not what you say to them, it's what you do. So modeling good sleep hygiene yourself is the best thing that you could do to have them watch you and be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll try this. So the sleep habits are what is in your control. That wake time is in your control. And just, again, I just want to say the prioritizing and the protection of sleep. It is, science has shown, out of all the self-care, sleep is top notch for short-term and for your longevity.
Doctor, thank you for sharing this incredible information with us. If anybody out there wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach out for you?
Yes, thank you so much. The best way is to call me. My phone number is 561-271-8132. I'm sorry, 8415. The best number for me is 561-271-8415. And you can find out more about me on my website at dramiebotwinick.com, Botwinick. And I'd love to offer a discovery session for anybody out there that's dealing with anxiety, stress, needs better self-care. I do a whole program one-on-one, and I also am working with the keynote speaking. So if you feel like your firm can benefit from the many aspects of self-care, it's a great thing to support your firm with.
Well, thank you again, doctor, for being with us, the great information, and we hope everyone out there is going to sleep better tonight.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.